I want to bring in Ash Orr, Press Relations Manager for Advocates for Trans Equality, the nation's largest trans rights organization. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Talk about the stakes here.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for bringing me on here to talk about this. So I think what's important to know here is that these attacks that we are seeing right now on the trans community, it's a selfish tactic that is meant to divide us. It is doing a disservice to the American people. We are exhausted by petty and destructive politics, and it's time to be moving forward and creating a new path. So while we still have some politicians who are manufacturing fear around the trans communities, what we need to be seen as our leaders who should be focused on raising incomes and lowering everyday costs so that all families have the support and opportunities they need to thrive. But instead, we are unfortunately once again seeing attacks on our bodily autonomy and our rights to exist as trans people in fulfilling and healthy manners.
And we heard some of the real world consequences. I want to bring up another one. A woman, Kristen Chapman, who left Tennessee with her teenage daughter soon after the law passed there, told the New York Times that the Tennessee ban is, quote, like a natural disaster happens in your family because it changes how you are and where you feel okay. And I know you have said you plan to leave your home state of West Virginia because of its stance on transgender rights. Talk about just having to make that kind of decision.
Absolutely. So, West Virginia has been my home. I'm born and raised here, and it has been very difficult for me to have to make that decision to move out of my home. But, the unfortunate reality is that sometimes your home is not a place where you can thrive. And I am in a very privileged position to even be able to leave my state. And the unfortunate reality is there are a lot of folks in West Virginia and other rural states throughout Appalachia who are not going to be able to leave. And it's disappointing to see, again, our politicians using these divisive tactics to cause harm when they are not focusing on the actual issues that are impacting their constituents. So, yes, unfortunately, my spouse and I, for my safety as a trans person, as well as for us to, hopefully start a family in the future, we are having to leave for my protection.
How are you and your organization planning for whatever the outcome of this Supreme Court case is? And obviously, if it doesn't go your way?
Absolutely. So, our organization is still remaining strong and committed to uplifting and protecting the trans community. Right now, this is a new chapter of resistance, and it is one that we are prepared for. We have lived through a Trump presidency before. We have dealt with detrimental SCOTUS decisions, and we know the devastating impacts of what could be coming down the road. And many in our community, particularly trans people and their families, we are filled with fear and anxiety about what this could mean. But it's important to remember that we are not alone right now. We are together with our community in this fight, and that we are building a collective power for the future. So our vision at A4TE, that still remains an inclusive vision and hopeful, and we are going to remain strong. And we are going to continue to pursue equality for trans people. And that is going to persevere no matter, what comes at us down the road here. But I do, again, just want to remind folks that everything we are feeling right now is valid. It is a very scary and concerning time. But organizations like us at A4TE, we are in our community's corner, and we are going to keep persevering.
You do mention fear, though, and I think a lot of misunderstanding comes from lack of knowledge, right? And let me talk to you about something that's roiling all across the country: transgender bathroom bans. In Montana, a measure to bar the state's first transgender legislator from using the women's restroom at the state capitol failed yesterday. In D.C., Congresswoman Nancy Mace has tried to enact bathroom bans on Capitol Hill, got support from the Speaker of the House. Just in this one issue, can you help people who maybe believe they've never known someone who is transgender, the impact of these kinds of bathroom bans, and address their fear?
For sure. So, bathroom bans, they do not create more safety. And instead, what this is doing, it is stigmatizing trans people. And it's stigmatizing really everybody who's trying to simply go to the restroom. These bans make trans, non-binary, intersex folks feel less safe and uncomfortable, and it does impact our health. So I encourage folks who think, maybe they don't know somebody who's trans, or they're not sure how to communicate with somebody who is trans, to simply just take time to sit with yourself and educate yourself and think, would I be comfortable having someone attack me for wanting to go to the bathroom, for just simply trying to live their life? And what we are seeing right now is this correlation of, oh, well, we are trying to protect people from sexual assault by, implementing bathroom bans. And research has shown us time and time again that there is no link between trans inclusive bathrooms and crimes in bathrooms or locker rooms. So non-discrimination laws that are protecting trans people and these kinds of facilities, they've been around for a long time with no increase to public safety incidences in restrooms and locker rooms. And in fact, it's actually trans people who are the ones who are more vulnerable in bathrooms. We have seen 68% who have been verbally harassed and 9% who have been physically assaulted when using a public restroom. So these trans exclusive locker room and bathroom policies, they increase sexual assault. So, the reality is everyone should have the right to go to the bathroom safely. Everyone should be able to live freely without discrimination and to be able to access spaces like restrooms and locker rooms without discrimination simply because of who we are.